the next level.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Coach Tiffany Parr, editor-in-chief of Phoenix Fitness Fanatics magazine, which is the heartbeat in Own It magazine, actually. We are the health and wellness heartbeat inside Own It magazine, as well as the lifestyle and leisure. Today, I have the pleasure of taking center stage on the Own It magazine and publishing platform with one of our contributing writers. She is absolutely amazing. Let me go ahead and bring her on in. Hey, what's going on,
Tiffany?
Lora?
How are you? How are you?
I am absolutely amazing. How are you today on this Wellness Wednesday?
I am wonderful. I am wonderful and excited to be here.
Awesome. I'm so excited to have you here as well. So, for those who have not yet met you, please go ahead and introduce yourself real quick, who you are, where you're from, and just a little bit about what you do and what your expertise is.
All right. I am Coach Lora. I reside in Charlotte, North Carolina. I relocated here 2 years ago, so I'm on a new adventure, which is very exciting for this season of life. I coach women 50 and over to build muscle, regulate their stress, and build metabolic resilience using my strong method so that they can be strong, they can build their strength, have more clarity and independence as we get seasoned in our lives.
Yes, ooh, I love it. I love it. See it, y'all know as we age, look, when we get into that 50, that year 50, with that level 5, right? We're gonna call it level 5. When you get to level 5, things start to get a little challenging, okay? I mean, you start to lose your muscle mass and the things that you used to eat, you can't eat no more, right? Sometimes you get allergic to things like I know
Yeah,
people
yeah.
that used to love shrimp or love peanut butter. Now all of a sudden they can't eat it anymore. It is just wild. So
Yes, yes.
let's talk a little bit about what last time we talked about what you do with women over 50. I really want to dig into the mindset of it. We talked about building muscle. We talked about so many things, and y'all better go back and watch the last Wellness Wednesday with Coach Lora. So let's talk about what what those challenges are for women over 50, right? Because
Okay.
we have so many challenges, and let's dig in.
We do, we do. One of the things that I think we probably have heard at some point or probably experienced when we hit that 50 mark, we got a little bolder, right?
Mm.
We like I can say what I want to say, maybe things you didn't say, when you were younger. After 50, like I'm saying this now.
Filter
So
gone.
yes. So there's so many different changes that we go through, but our mindset is very important at this stage, our nervous system. So
Yeah.
one of the things that we coach and work on is calming our nervous system. Because
Mm.
as you know, we at this stage are just, I mean, our life has been chaotic, right? We're juggling so many things. We're juggling work, we're juggling kids, we're juggling grandbabies now. We're juggling our family members, we're juggling our aging parents,
Mhm.
the jobs, just so many things that we're juggling.
Right.
And when do we really take time to calm our
Mhm.
nerves, right?
Mhm.
I won't say unfortunately, but this is so key at
Yeah.
this stage of life because it's all affected. Our gut, that microbiome gut also talks to that hypothalamus, that gland in your brain.
Mhm.
Um, all of those connections are happening. And so when we are stressed, when our mindsets is just like maybe feel defeated, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
We have a mindset of, or we get that mindset that I'm too old
Mm.
and I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. This is just inevitable. I remember having that mindset as well. I
Mhm.
remember when I started picking up weight, and I was about 30 pounds heavier than I am now.
Mhm.
And it was like, well, this is what it's supposed to be, right? I'm
Mm.
over 50 and I'm getting there. I'm supposed to be, pick up weight. It's normal.
Right.
Um, but the thing is, if we really take the time to understand how much stress that is put on our body,
Mhm.
then it's not normal, right?
Yeah.
So that we can change that. So we have to change that mindset,
Mhm.
the limiting belief mindset, all of those things that we have been taught is kind of like throw it out.
Yeah.
But we focus on mindset. We focus on being mindful, right?
Mhm. Yeah, it's important.
Mindful when we're eating,
Mhm.
mindful with the activities that we're doing, mindful is it best for us, right? Because everything is not for everybody. There's no one
That
way.
part.
We
Mhm.
are unique. We do have a biological difference, right?
Yeah.
Not just the biological difference, from men, which that's a whole nother story, right? But we do have from each other, right?
Mhm.
And so we have to be mindful of what that is. And the
Right.
only way you can know that is by paying attention to it, taking your time, right? So when we talk about mindset, it's a wide area to touch
Mhm.
on. Calming your nerves, right? Going through, and I'll just give you a few examples, going through breathing exercises.
Mhm.
Some of us don't know how to breathe.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? We don't know how to breathe. There's a certain way to breathe that brings oxygen up to our brains, right?
Mhm.
Um, and we have to practice that. And what we'll find out when we take the time, pay attention to our breathing, take it in. Look, let stomach should be expanding when we're exhaling in, and then we're blowing it out, that stomach is going in. We should be practicing that, and we will be amazed at what that does for our brain,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
um, Sitting down and going within ourselves. People say meditation. Sometimes meditation is not just sitting, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes it could be walking and
Yeah.
thinking, or meditation is yours. So we can't get caught up in, everybody got to sit and cross your legs, and because everybody don't feel comfortable that way, and so they say I can't meditate.
Mhm.
But you have to find your comfortable way. So all of that comes into the mindset, the nervous system, and then I never want to leave out grounding, right?
Oh, and grounding.
Yes,
Mhm.
I never want to leave out grounding, and that part is so important as well. Being out in the sun, right?
Mhm.
We've been taught to have run from the sun.
Run to it.
I will tell you, since I've been here in Charlotte, that's one of the most things that I love the most, because it shines every day. It
Mm.
shines even if it's colder outside, that sun is shining, and that just does something for you. But it is our natural vitamin D, right? Which is very important. We need that vitamin D. Where I came from in Ohio, most of us were vitamin D deficient. Um, but that affects your mind,
Mm. Yeah.
right? That affects your brain, just like some of the minerals that we won't get into right now. But all of that stuff is part of mindset, resetting your mind, getting rid of those limited beliefs, right? What is it that you're telling yourself every day, right?
Right.
Creating those affirmations that encourage you and empower you daily to keep going and
Mhm.
to strive, right? So that's where, we kind of focus on, and we have a section just for that, just for mindset.
Yeah. Yeah. Mindset is huge. I mean,
Mhm,
because if you don't change it here, you're not going to be able to change any of this here.
mhm,
You
mhm,
know,
mhm.
I hear about people that nothing against getting surgery, weight loss surgery, things like that. But I hear of people that go and they get the weight loss surgery, and then a few years later, they have all the weight back or more.
Mhm.
And it's
Mhm.
because they didn't do the mindset
Mhm.
actions, behind it to get them ready and prepared for that. They just kept on, with the same, limiting beliefs, with the same, habits and all those things that brought them right back to where they were or, worse. So I think
Absolutely.
mindset is definitely the key in it all, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, and we have to always keep that in mind that it's not a one thing, right? It's all tied together, right? And
Mhm.
that's how we're made. That's how way our bodies are made, is interconnected, So we have to, as we decide to lose weight, right? What did we transform in our minds, right?
Right. Yeah.
We lost the weight, and that's why I'm not doing just a weight loss, right?
Mhm.
It's kind of a transformation, right? It's a lifestyle change that we have to make. We're not just doing a fad, right? And that's the thing that we're getting away from. If you're like me, you done did the cabbage diet, you done went to the doctor, you done got the pills that, hurry up and
So,
help you lose weight.
paleo
Right. You didn't did all the, I didn't did I'm going on a trip.
Atkins.
I'm going on a trip, so I'm a fast. I'm a fast. I'm gonna lose this weight so I can look good in my swimming suit. But I'm gonna tell you a trick on that one though, Tiffany. I used to do that, right? And then
Mhm.
what happens is you go on the trip and it never failed that maybe the second or third day I started getting constipated.
Huh.
Okay. And I was like, God, every time I even started drinking um laxatives on my
Yeah.
trip because you done did all of this work prior to getting on this trip. And then you get on the trip and you backed up. So you got a little
Right.
and so, but what I realized, Tiffany, when I made a transformation in my life, that went away.
Mm.
Traveling, having that traveling fear of my body changing and not being able to went away. And I didn't realize it. And I hear so many of my friends and I hear women say when I travel, and it's not that.
Mm.
It's really your lifestyle. Because
Right.
the way that I eat now and I try to carry. So even when I started eating a certain way when I travel, I literally carry oats and cranberry, cranberries and almonds. So I could always put together, even if it was a microwave, I can pour some water in there and make me up some quick, and I made sure I had something healthy to eat. I carry fruit with me all the time when I'm traveling. I stopped buying the stuff in the airport, right?
Right. Yeah.
Because that stuff will back you up. You don't know what's in there.
Right.
I start carrying my own snacks. I start carrying. And so when I did that, and now it's amazing. I
Right.
never have that problem anymore. And I literally used to say the same thing. So I had my friends say, and I was like, oh, it's not that. it's not your traveling,
No.
it's
Mm-mm.
what we're putting in our body.
Right.
So, that is something that, we just have to be aware of.
Right. Yeah. And it's
Aware of.
so easy to get little things together for the trip, you
No.
know?
It is. And it's just learning. It's a lifestyle. Like we said, it's a lifestyle change. It's the transformation. And like you said, the people who went and they get the quick fix, they go get the pills, they get, we've done it, right? But what
Absolutely.
happens is that was the other thing that made me change is after you do that and you lose it, and then you gain it, and then you lose it, and then you gain it, then you lose it, then you gain it. That is not good for your body.
Stress on your
Yes.
body, right?
Yes. Your organs are being stressed. Your
Mhm.
body is being stressed. And so that's where I said, I don't want it that way anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want it the fat way. I want to get there and progressively just keep getting better and get better, and so that's what you have to decide because really at that point, it's not just a weight loss program,
Right.
it's a transformation,
It's a it's
and
a healthy lifestyle transformation. That's
it,
really
it
what
it is. It's a lifestyle transformation, and what the benefit. that you get from it is unlimited. I mean, it
Right.
carries you on. It's just like I said in the other, you're investing in your 80-year-old body,
Right. Yeah.
right
Like,
now.
when we had spoken, on another show, that it just takes little steps, just, I mean, I've heard it so many times before, just focus on getting 1% better every day.
Mhm.
1%, and that 1% could be, just taking fast food out of your diet for that day,
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
sugar, cutting
Or
out of the sugar,
sugar.
whatever that is, getting up and walking. If you go to the grocery store, instead of, focusing on parking so close, park far on the back and get some extra steps,
Right,
or take
right,
stairs instead of the elevator. I mean, there's so many different things that we can do that's like so little, but it means so much when you put it
right.
together and create that lifestyle. What did they say? They say it takes 28 days to create a habit.
Mhm. Mhm.
That every day, daily good habits, and then all of a sudden it just becomes your life. I mean,
And,
you have this for a long time, right?
yeah, exactly, exactly. You learn that consistency wins in the end.
Every time, every
Consistency.
time.
It's not all the, effort. I mean, it's effort, but it's that constant consistency. Just keep going. Okay, maybe I fell off today. Maybe I fell off, but tomorrow, right? Or the next day, I'm going to do it. And then just that mindset thing, right? Be
Yeah,
okay with it, right? Be
right,
okay with, okay, just because I didn't go today, all of what I did last week and 2 weeks ago didn't just go away,
right. Give
right?
yourself grace.
Give yourself grace.
Grace.
Give yourself grace, because that's the defeat. That's the part that makes us stop,
Right,
because we think because I fell off or because I stopped, I'm doomed, and
right,
we do that. And then I got to go get something to eat.
right. Now I'm stressed out now because I didn't hit the goal, or I didn't hit what
Right,
I to.
right,
That's okay. Sit down for a second. It's like the power of the pause. Pause. Think about the big picture. Are you better than you were before? Even if you
mhm,
didn't finish it, did
right.
you still get a little bit further along?
Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly. It's just like when we talked about in the other show with the strength training, and you start and you say, okay, well, I can only do two of these. Okay,
Yeah.
that's
Right.
okay. So
Yep.
tomorrow try for three,
Exactly.
or in a couple days, just however, but you have to, like you said, give yourself grace, allow yourself to grow into it,
Hmm.
and realize that it doesn't happen overnight.
Right. Exactly.
It
Exactly.
doesn't happen. It didn't come overnight. It's not going to leave overnight.
I'll leave overnight. Exactly. And steady. I know, Coach Laura, you do a lot. I mean, you're coaching, women, which that's already a big job, right? Because you got to deal with, our emotions and all sorts of stuff too. Then you also have a job that you're working as well. So, tell me, what does self care really look like for Coach Laura?
That's a good question, Tiffany, because it is definitely intentional. I have to be very intentional, right?
Hmm.
Um, Sometimes it can be a struggle with the full time job, and it's demanding. But I have made a commitment to myself, right? I made a commitment to my health.
Hmm.
Um, I don't want to be sick, right? And so one of the things that I do is I usually work out in the morning before work, right? That way I know that it's going to get done.
Yep.
I have more energy. I
Hmm.
literally have more energy in the morning, because when I get off, I really don't feel like doing it. On top of, it's more crowded. Sometimes I'll go to the gym and it's more people there,
Yeah.
where in the morning it's less. And I'm kind of, I like to get through and do what I got to do. But even if you did it at home, so for me, that's one of the things that I have to be intentional about, regardless. And sometimes I may not feel it. I wake up and I may not feel it, but I will, if my body's not hurting and if I got enough rest, I'm going, right? The other part is making sure that I'm putting the right nutrients in my
Mm-hmm.
body. That's so important to me.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Everything that I eat, I'm like, am I getting my protein? At this stage of life, it's so important for us to get our protein, right?
Right.
Our body
Yeah.
does make protein, but if we're giving it the right things, we add on to it, right? So
Mm-hmm.
am I getting my protein? Am I getting, and because I am a plant forward, so most of what I eat is plants.
Mm-hmm.
Protein is in it, right? But I want to make sure I'm getting enough to
Right.
build those muscles, right? I need that to build those muscles. So making sure I get that. Then sleep, right?
Important.
Trying to make sure, because once we hit that perimenopausal, that's kind of like our badge of honor with one another. It's like, don't we all wake up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning?
Yes, factful. Look, wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning drenched.
Right. Exactly. Well, yeah, and see that part too. See that when you talk about, because the hot flashes is something that you really got to be intentional on watching what you're putting in your body. And we go through a whole process, elimination process. So whenever you got things going on, especially in the food category, because you really don't know what's affecting you, right?
Right.
When we eat everything, we don't know what's affecting us. So, like when I talk about the vacation and what we're doing and how it affects our body, then you kind of we start with eliminating,
Yeah.
right? We're eliminating things that we putting in our body so that we can not eliminate them totally. So maybe
Mhm.
we take meat out, but is we taking it out forever? No. Are we taking out sugar? Yeah, I think we should take out sugar as much as we can, right?
I mean,
Um,
like processed sugar. I mean,
right,
there's
right.
natural sugar that
Fructose.
we have and fruit
Exactly.
and all that stuff.
Exactly.
White sugar,
Exactly.
it needs to go.
Right, exactly. So yeah, we want to but in order to see how those things are affecting you, you got to eliminate them and then kind of maybe put them back in
Mm-hmm.
one by one. And then you'll be able to say, "Oh, when I ate this," and one of the things too, Tip, you said, when I ate this, my body did this. But the other thing that you can tell, which a lot of people don't like, in my program I say weigh yourself daily.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you weigh yourself daily, then you get familiar with how foods are affecting you.
Mm-hmm.
So you can say, "Oh, I ate this. I gained 2 pounds. I gained 2 pounds," right? And you're like, "Okay, I know when I eat that, that's what's gonna happen." You know what I
Right.
mean? And
Mm-hmm.
whereas when I eat this, look, it didn't, or I'm dropping, or I stayed the same, so it's all about learning yourself. It's all
Yeah.
about learning your own body, and then you can kind of make the right choices.
Right. Yeah.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah, no, you absolutely did. Now, what do you think is the biggest challenge that women over 50 have in this journey?
um, Forgetting what they did before. I
Mm,
think that's a big challenge. Um, I think because the way that we were trained, the way that we've been taught to do things, and I'll just touch on this a little bit, just on our medical, what they do for women's bodies. I
mhm,
did a workshop, and I don't know if I did a workshop in November, which was "Women Are Not Little Men,"
mhm.
and that's when we touched on those things that we just didn't know of what affects our body because they weren't telling us because they didn't know,
Right.
right? They weren't studying us.
Yeah.
They didn't start really studying us until the 90s, and you just think about it, where we are now. So, we really just have to God, I just lost my lost my thought. Say that question again.
Oh, what do you think the biggest challenges?
Oh yeah, okay, right. Okay. So also because what we were taught was cardio, 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 right? So that's one of the biggest challenge. But listening to what happened, what we did before doesn't work the same,
Yeah.
right? Um, Taking that. that mindset out of our existence that we're doomed to, it's inevitable. Because we're older, because we're over 50. And unfortunately, there's some negative, I don't know where they get this from. Over 50 women are done. We're 60, I'm like, I don't know where they get that from, because I feel so much more empowered at this stage of my life, right? My children are grown. I have grandchildren. I look back and I'm so grateful, for where I brought them from, but then still how I feel, right? That I
Right.
have an opportunity to still live out some of my dreams
Right.
at 62.
And you're moving well. I'm watching you out there rocking it. You in the gym. You're doing the doggone thing. And there's some people that are a lot younger than you that are ailing. They're
Mhm.
they're they're with walkers and they got all these different things going on. And it's like, wow. And that's
Yeah.
because they're not moving and they're not putting the right things in their body. If you actually sat down and talked to some of these people, or even just observed, you
Hmm.
observe how they eat,
Hmm.
observe what they're doing, you know exactly why they're in that position. Like I have quite a few sheros, that are in their level 8. Um,
Hmm.
Ernestine Shepherd is one of them, and
She's
also
my idol.
was
I said, she's my idol. She's my
right.
encourager. She's my inspiration.
And then
Yes.
Miss Annie, who is the Beverly Hills jump rope queen out here in
Hmm.
California. I mean,
Okay.
this woman is in her 80s and she's out there doing fit boot training with us. I mean, just
Oh,
amazing.
wow. That is amazing.
I mean, she's
That is amazing.
11 Guinness Book of World Records for the oldest jump roper.
Jump roper. That's
I
amazing.
mean,
That's amazing.
so
Well, and if you think about it, Tiffany, when we talk about starting too late, so you mentioned Ernestine Shepherd, which is that she's been my inspiration for years, right? And when you read about her and her sister, they didn't start till 50s.
50s.
They weren't, and I think about, I've been doing fitness for over 30 years, right? They started in their 50s. And when you look at that woman body, that
Mm.
Ernestine Shepherd, she 80s, I'm like, oh my goodness.
Banging, banging. Like, come
So
on, come
so
on.
when you look at that, you realize it's possible. And my group was a faith with faith fitness.
Mhm.
One thing, if it's possible for them, it's possible for you.
Exactly.
It's possible. All you have to do is make certain choices, and you have to just start where you are. So I think one of the biggest mistakes, or the biggest challenges, is women accepting that they can,
Mhm.
and that they can just start where they are.
Right.
Too often, and I'm guilty of that too. We look around, we look at our sisters, our brothers, our friends, everybody else, and we
Mm,
look at, well, they're doing it this way and I can't do it that way. Or they
right,
look like this and I don't look, it's not about them. It's about being, who are you,
right.
right?
And what we're
What is your best self,
right.
right? And
Yeah.
that's really, I think, the biggest challenge that we have, is that start where we are.
Mhm.
Put out the noise. Don't listen to none of the noise, all the social media and everybody doing this. And I don't know, I hesitate sometimes with my pictures, because I don't want anybody to be like, oh, I want to look. No, it's not about that, right? It's about health. It's
Mhm.
about where you are and getting to be your best self,
Right.
especially at this stage of life, because you got wisdom. You got years of experience. All you want now is your power. You want to be powerful right now, right? Because this is the best time.
The best time. This is
This
your
is the
best
best
half.
time.
This the
This
second the
is,
second half is the best half, right?
yeah. And show your grandbabies. I remember when I was riding my bike, and my grandsons, they're a lot bigger now. But I remember they were small, and I was riding my bike with them. They literally would get mad at me because I was beating them. Like, why? No, you're not supposed to be beating us. But being able to do that with your grandchildren,
Yeah.
you know, being
Yeah.
able to get on the floor with them, right? So
Mhm. Mhm.
that is right now, just the biggest is that you can do it. right?
That's
You
yes,
have the power to do it within you, within yourself.
yeah,
Nobody else. It's not about nobody else. It's all about you.
all about you.
All
Oh,
about you.
is. Well, Coach Laura, what's some words of wisdom, words of encouragement that you can maybe give our audience today on this Wellness Wednesday? They're out there. That some people are ailing, and they really just need some help to just feel better. So, what's some words of wisdom, words of encouragement that you can provide our audience today?
Well, one thing I'll share is that, and one of the focuses of our program is eliminating inflammation,
Hmm.
right? Inflammation is a huge, huge, huge piece of so many
Yeah.
ailments,
Yes.
right? The pain, the joint pain, is inflammation. The visceral fat, around your waist is inflammation. It's chronic inflammation, right? We have inflammation is a natural thing, right? Acute
Hmm.
inflammation, which you cut yourself, you watch and you see your it heals, right? That's the way it's supposed to be. But with chronic inflammation, it doesn't go away that easily. And so one of the things that I would definitely encourage is to try to adopt as much as possible anti-inflammatory diet.
Hmm.
You know, look for things that are anti-inflammatory. And when you start in the plants, you
Yeah.
start with the greens and the micronutrient. That's kind of the area of the anti-inflammatory. I'll share one secret that I do in the morning. And I think I was going to try to share it on the other one, but every morning, right? You take a lemon, right?
Hmm.
Most of us know about the lemon water, right? But lemon, um, ginger root, turmeric root, and I use the root. I used to use the powder and it discolor everything, right?
Yeah.
But the ginger root, cloves, a teaspoon of cloves,
Uh-huh.
and I always it's you put black pepper, but I always sprinkle a little cayenne pepper, right? And that's my morning drink, right? Um, and I try to drink that before I do, even before my coffee.
Hmm.
It's a challenge because sometimes I want to go right for coffee, right? But it's like, but I want that lemon. And what you'll slowly see inflammation even in your belly, right? That will help to reduce belly fat
Wow.
because that is an inflammation killer.
Hmm.
Um, and if you really want to go, put a little cinnamon in there.
Ceylon cinnamon.
Yes, yes. Put a little,
They
and
say cinnamons are different. They say if you get cassia cinnamon is not good for you, but the
then,
Ceylon
okay.
cinnamon is good for you. So
So you
I
know
just
what? I buy cinnamon sticks, so I gotta
yeah.
check to see that, right?
Mhm.
But yeah, so I would definitely try to adapt the anti-inflammatory. Most people say, I don't want to be a vegetarian, I don't want to be a vegan, which is fine. But what I'm gonna say is add more of those plant items in
That's
your diet.
that's right.
Add more natural fiber in your
Hmm.
diet, right? You should be getting at least 25 grams of fiber.
Yeah.
You know, you need to put some color on your plate.
Yeah.
Put some color because those are the things that's going to be fighting that inflammation in your body. That
Yeah.
even hot flashes,
Mhm.
arthritis, the joint pains, that comes from inflammation. All of that comes from inflammation. If you look it up, most diseases start with inflammation, right?
Yep. Yep.
So making sure you doing that anti-inflammatory, getting those minerals, right?
Hmm.
There's so many minerals that's good for us, like we do the ashwagandha, right?
Oh
Which is
yeah.
probably that's a supplement, right? The
Hmm.
ashwagandha, but then the maca, right? Maybe the
Yeah.
ashwagandha in the evening and the maca in the morning.
Right.
I recently started, probably within the last, started doing creatine, right?
Mhm.
Only because when I was younger, I thought I'm not doing that's gonna make me big. It's gonna make me, but it's a power thing, right? It's a brain thing for us. So I would say that we definitely need to just look at those things, making sure your body is getting the proper nutrients because and the
Yeah.
rest. Sleep is your superpower. Everything restores overnight, right? Over during that rest time. You have cells that's regenerating. Your
Mm,
cells that regenerate. But if you're not giving it what it needs, they can't regenerate.
that's
Our
right.
bodies, think about this. Our bodies are magnificently, right? Isn't that what the word says? Bible says magnificently complex, wonderfully made, right? And
Mhm.
it is. But what we got to do is feed it. And
Right.
my other analogy I always use, what kind of fuel do you put in your car, right?
Hmm.
Some people use premium, right? And then you flush it out. You change your fluids, your windshield wiper, all that stuff got to be changed out. Your body needs that,
Thank
right?
you.
Your body needs the right fuel so it can run properly, but it also needs that detoxing. It needs that cleaning, that flushing, that we do with the car. So which
Right.
is more important, your car or your body? Your car, your body. You want your car to run right. You want your body to run right. So those are things that I would say to take with you is that what you put in your body, what kind of nutrients you put in your body, because our world, our society is overfed
Hmm.
but undernourished.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're not getting the nutrients that we need. And
Mm-mm.
because we're not getting the nutrients that we need, then our bodies can't fight off some of the things that it needs to fight off, right? It can't protect us the way it needs to protect us. And it is designed to protect us. That's the wonderful part about it. The wonderful part about it is, and I'm always floored because when you really think about our bodies and how God created us, you're a mother, and most of us are mothers. We know
Yep.
how that life grew inside of us, right?
Right.
And the amazing things that happened when that
Right.
when that life was forming, right? That
Mhm.
that placenta and that biblical cord, God had all that planned out.
Right.
He had everything ready for us to get what we needed, right? And so
Mhm.
it's no different now. We just have been trained to get quick meals.
Right.
We've been
Right.
trained to move, on taste, right?
Hmm.
It tastes good, and not that's why I like to make amazing vegetables.
Yeah. Yes.
I did some mushrooms. I had some lion's mane mushrooms, right?
Yum. My favorite.
Slice them into pieces like steak. And I
Hmm.
sauteed and cooked those things up so you would have thought you was eating a piece of steak. So, it's just a matter of taking that intention, right? And making sure your body is getting what it needs.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. So, how can our audience get in touch with you if they would like to work with you, if they'd like to get some more resources, just find out a little bit more about you? How can they tap in?
Well, I am on all the social medias, actually on LinkedIn as well. You can catch me on Instagram under Love Oneself Fitness. I'm sorry. Love Oneself 50 plus, right? That is on Instagram. You can catch me, Lora Jerdine, on my Facebook. Um, you can also catch me on LinkedIn under Lora Jerdine. But my website is www.love oneself.com. So loveoneself.com. On there, you can actually I think there's a freebie. I don't think I removed that yet. There's a freebie, how to reduce your fat in 5 days, fat belly fat in 5 days. But there's also some programming on there to just understand how my programming works. There's some blogs. But yeah, that would be probably the best way. And if you wanted consultation, I do offer
Mhm.
that, kind of like a discovery to see what you're working with. If we can fit, if I can help you. One thing I'm always want you to leave with is something valuable. So even if we're just going to talk about where you are, I'm going to try to help you with the next step, whether you work with me or not. Just want to show you kind of where the next step would be for you and how you can find, you know, probably answers for where you are right now. So I look forward to it. Also, I have an ebook out for muscle blueprint. So when getting stronger, 50 and over, to
Mhm.
help you to understand maybe just how to start. How do
Yeah.
you start building strength? How do you start building muscle when you've never done it before? We just talked about Ernestine Shepherd, right? She started, her sister, they was in the Guinness Book of Records. They didn't start till 50s.
Yeah.
So it's not
Never,
too late for you ladies.
never too late to start. So, well, I just want to thank you so much for joining me today. It has just been amazing. Our conversations are always wonderful and
Right.
just so filled with great information and knowledge and wisdom. Everyone, I hope you got so much knowledge and wisdom today from our Wellness Wednesday segment. I want to thank you all for joining us today, and we will see you next week. And definitely make sure that you get your copy of Own It so you can see Phoenix Fitness Fanatics, the heartbeat, the health and wellness heartbeat in
If,
Own
if
It
I,
magazine.
if
So
I
thank
can
you.
just if I can
Yes.
just say, Tiffany, I just want to say that I am so proud of you, right? I'm so proud of what you've been doing, because when we first met, we both were kind of stepping out of a place in our lives, and we were just kind of like, okay, I want to do something different. And I have watched you over the years, and I'm so proud of you. So I am so happy to be here with you and kind of walk with you. So thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for that. Thank you so much for that. Well, everyone, thank you so much today, and we'll see you next time. Happy Wellness Wednesday, everyone.